We are here today with Dr. Maria Limardo, geneticist, and she's kind enough to give us an interview. Thank you, Dr. Maria. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this wonderful invitation. And I'm also a medical intuitive. Part of my journey has brought me here.
Tell us, Dr. Maria, I want to ask more about what you just said because that's something else that you do that I wasn't totally aware of. But what does a geneticist do exactly?
Well, when I went to school for genetics, we were basically at that time that we wanted to get all the information on the genome, and we wanted to find all the genes, and we wanted to find all the genes related to diseases. So that was the time of the determinism, which if you have this gene and it was autosomal dominant, 50% the chances you would have to develop it. Or, people were scared about genetics because they said, well, I got this gene, so now I'm gonna get cancer, or I won't be able to have kids. It was I call it the dark period of genetics. We were discovering a lot of things. It was, I would say, from the discovery of the double-stranded DNA, quote unquote, and to what is it actually doing to have this form, the human form, to produce a human form. But in the late 90s, there is another one part of genetics that came into play, which is the epigenetics, meaning that everything in our environment is going to control, in some cases, or make some genes to produce a particular protein, and it's going to influence how that gene is going to produce something for the body, either for good or for bad. It is very interesting with when epigenetics came into play, because that started to explain why some people who should have had cancer never did, or should have had this dominant disease and didn't happen. What epigenetics finally is explaining is that it's very important, the environment of a mother during pregnancy, or the care she took before getting pregnant. So it's got different layers, because you could think of, okay, I need to consume things that are good for me, right? Or surround myself with positive thoughts, positive environments. And then you think about, well, also music, the frequencies that enter my ears, my eyes, what I eat, what I feel, who are the people that are surrounding my life. And that is more positive, if we want to put it in those terms, to have a better outcome. When I was studying and I was a geneticist, I did collagen studies. So collagen is part of every tissue, and specifically my area was in skin diseases. So I was studying collagen 17, which was discovered with me in the group, in the lab at Thomas Jefferson University. And we were studying how this affects a specific disease called epidermolysis bullosa. But there were some things that were not quite making sense with me. And in my group of research, I was the one with the big questions. Could this be collagen something to not only give stability to the tissue, but could have electrical possibilities, like giving information into the body? And that happens to be now the truth. So collagen basically transmit electric impulses and information in the body. So I was there by chance working in collagen, but now that I look back at it, it wasn't by chance. I needed to be there, especially because I went into became a holistic practitioner. More than a geneticist, I was very frustrated because when you're a geneticist, what do? Tests, diagnosis, and then no hope for the families. And tell them, well, we have palliative treatment. We could do this. We could do therapies, physical therapy. In the case of other diseases like pulmonary therapy. But it wasn't a definite, treatment. Now there are, with the advent of CRISPR Cas9.
Cas9, yes, I was gonna ask
CRISPR
you about that.
Cas9.
Tell us about that, because
CRISPR Cas9. It was basically impossible to tie genes or cut genes in a specific area. Yes, we had plasmids, which were they had viral parts of it, and we could cut it with enzyme and introduce just a tiny information to see if that would change the outcome of a gene. But when CRISPR came into the world, that changed completely how genetics is done. And now we have the possibilities, for better or for worse, to completely change the outcome of a gene. And that was, at least for epidermolysis bullosa, a breakthrough, because that is a disease that it's congenital. So, there is not much that you can do. But after CRISPR Cas9 came in, yes, I think there are about 4 published people that have been cured to a certain extent. And the certain extent, it could be up to 70% of these deadly disease. Because usually people with epidermolysis bullosa, they reach 26-year-old at the most.
So is this allowing you to actually change the DNA and the outcome? And wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Depends what you want to do. Do we know right now what it's going to affect those who receive that type of therapy in the long run? We don't know yet. Because I think every change you make on your genes, it's going to have a consequence at some point, either pretty good or pretty bad.
But if you already have a death sentence, then you have nothing to lose, right? So that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. So if you have a disease that it's congenital, and there is nothing out there that we haven't found that will help you to cure that disease, I think CRISPR is a viable solution for it, because everything would be better than the life you had at that moment.